So the other day I was listening to this podcast, and the guys on there were talking or complaining about the modern days woman refusal to things like cook and clean and do domestic duties. And that made me start to think of the concept of roles versus responsibility. Roles versus responsibility. When I think of roles, those are usually hard set. Roles are usually expectations in behavior which is based on gender, based on age, based on class or social status or your position, things of that nature. When I think of responsibility, I think of accountability. When I think of responsibility, I think of managing a task or putting the trust in your partner to take care of a certain duty. When it comes to roles, there is very little room for flexibility. There's very little room for fluidity. There's very little room for support, for help, for things of that nature, because that's your role and it's been established. That is what you do. When it comes to roles, it labels us as incapable or even worse, unwilling. We're incapable or we're unwilling to do something because I'm a man or because I'm a husband or because you're a woman or you're a wife. That's what roles kind of do. When we make the transition from roles to responsibility, things start to change. It becomes a lot more situational, a lot more circumstantial. So, yes, it might be your responsibility to cook dinner tonight. But because I know you had a hard day at work, I'm going to step in. Or, yes, it might be my responsibility to take the kid to football practice. But because an emergency came in, you stepped in. That's the difference between a responsibility and a role. Nothing is hard set based on gender or based on position or based on class, things of that nature. On a team, whether it's basketball, football, whatever, but since basketball is my sport, I'll speak about that. Yes, I might have responsibility to defend someone and stop them from scoring. But if he gets past me, it's the team's responsibility to step in and stop this man. That could be the difference from winning and losing. If I have a teammate that points at me and says, hey, that's your role, and I'm not going to step in to stop him if he passes you and let him score. That could be a game-winning shot that he just let score because he was stuck in a role. When it comes to relationships, it's important to be with someone that's strong enough to hold you up if you fall. And I think that's the key, that's the source, that's the critical part of roles versus responsibility. God bless.